Hello, Rosie. How are you?
Hi, Carol. I'm doing very well. How about you?
Doing well, thank you. Glad to see you. It's
Good to
always
see you as
great.
always.
We're here to do our monthly theme of step into your authentic self in 2025, and we're doing our monthly reading, putting cards based on the spreads that we're doing in the Body of Wisdom Oracle Circle and our Facebook group. And today we're going to be exploring the topic of courage. So these are the cards that we're going to be showcasing during the reading, and we use 7 decks. So I am Carole Falk. I am an integrative practitioner of metaphysics with numerous certifications, and I've been doing a lot of studies in other modalities. I'm passionate about creating purposeful tools that stimulate potential growth through multisensorial experiences and really I think we were really much about self-awareness, knowing the self, shadow work in a gentle way so that we can bring the invisible to the visible. We bring things to the surface so that we can make changes and really transform our reality in the way that we want to do it. And it's about putting back into our hands the power and meeting our potential. So that's kind of, I think, kind of sums up what we're about. And I support clients with private and group healing sessions. And now I also offer, for the last few months, I'm offering some past life card readings and mini healing sessions because I can see the power that it has, the influences that play out within this lifetime based on past life. And it's all about energetic imprints. That's the way I refer to them is, what other energy can we carry on that is impacting the way that we're living our life today. So that's about me. And let's talk about Rosie introducing herself.
Oh, hi. I'm Rosemary Nevada. I'm a psychic medium. So I have the aptitude to, and everybody has this aptitude. It's just most people don't know about it or they've been scared out of it or trained out of it. But everybody can do what I can do. It's not singular and specific to me. I have developed the aptitude to communicate with all manner of beings. I talk to people in their skins. I talk to people out of their skins. I talk to beings who never had skins. I talk to four-legged beings. I'm lucky. I get to have great conversations with so many different kinds of beings. So that's my thing that I love to do. I do readings. I do direct readings where you just think you're talking to somebody, but it's not really me. They're just using my vocal cords. And then I also love to use divination tools. My favorite are our oracle decks, of course. And then I love working with my tarot decks. I facilitate private sessions. I also do energy work. I do space clearing. And I'm very, very passionate about using uh, my aptitudes and my gifts to be of service to others. And Carol's, we're of the same ilk. We both are really very much about helping people grow and providing tools for them to help them do their self-healing and their growth.
As we continue to grow and evolve also, because it just never ends. So,
Exactly, because yeah, the best way to learn something is to teach it or do it, right?
right, right. And then I think it's necessary uh for healers to just keep on working themselves. I mean, I don't really like to call myself a healer because I don't think that's the appropriate word. I'm a conduit, but I um I will facilitate. I think I'm a facilitator, which I prefer to use. But you want to use someone who continues to grow and evolve themselves because you, stuck energy is not good for anyone. So,
Oh,
all right. So let's get into our 7 day card spread that we've created. So each week we share a 7 day card spread in the Body of Wisdom Oracle Circles group, our Facebook group. And each month we pull one of the topics to do the monthly reading. And we use 7 decks. So we're going to be using our 5 decks plus 2 other decks from other authors. So these are our decks. And I love how colorful they are.
Beautiful. Yeah. Can you hear me okay? Because I put my
Yeah.
earbuds in. All
Yes,
right.
perfect. Yes. And so we are on the topic of courage. So the day one, the question that we asked is, how do I cultivate the courage to live as my authentic self? So the first card that we pulled is, and Rosie does the reading for us each day, each week. And this is from our Manifestor deck. And the card is shaking up the status quo. So each card from the manifestor's deck start out with, for the purpose of manifesting my soul's desires. So to me, that starts out with the intention. And so that's because we're wanting to manifest. So that's what we created an intention in some ways. But it says, for the purpose of manifesting my soul's desires, I shake up the status quo with its stagnant energies. I trust myself to engage my powers. I embrace the waves of life by coming out of my comfort zone. I become courageous and willing to take risks. As I leap into this new way of being, I become open and malleable to new opportunities. I practice thoughtful consideration. I understand the implications of my choices and actions as they affect all generations. I take responsibility for what I decide to manifest. So bringing it back to living at my authentic self does require courage, and it does require us to move out of our comfort zone instead of falling into complacency. And it does um, make us realize as we become more and more authentic in the way that we show up is the ripples, the implications that we create, and the impact that we can have on not only the people around us now, but also in future generations. So it's if we live in that mindset of mindfulness of what we're creating, it's a big responsibility and we have to take responsibility for it. So I love that it's really bringing a lot of nuggets within that card. There's a lot of messages within just that one, and leaping into it is about taking a leap of faith. And many times because we're always afraid of the unknown and we don't know what's on the other side of uh, is a relationship going to change? Is how we're going to be affected and all of that. So we have a lot. Well, before that first step, we ask ourselves a lot of questions. But
Or we
also,
do 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So it
right,
takes us a
right,
while to get there. Yeah.
right. But also, like we talked about this before, and that part of procrastination, the procrastination kind of putting off the side something that we're supposed to be doing. We know we're supposed to be doing it, but then we resist it or we're afraid of it. It just creates an even bigger cloud than doing it. So the sooner you do it, the sooner you can wash your hands off of it and not have that big, sometimes it's like a weight that comes on your shoulders. And it wasn't a big deal, but we made it such a big deal.
Sure, sure. There's always something fun too about taking that risk because I've never jumped out of an airplane. I can't see any point of jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. It makes no sense to me. But but I would imagine that taking that risk and taking that leap is sort of like it's like a free fall out of an airplane and it's scary, but it's exhilarating all at the same time. And you're going to land safely. Maybe you'll land in a different spot than you thought you would, but guess what? I honestly believe that there are no wrong choices because you learn something from every choice. Some choices you make have uh, harder
Lesson or experience.
experiences and results that are associated with them. But but you always learn something. So that helps me dissuade the fear. Like, what if I'm doing something wrong? What if I make the wrong choice? So what? You're not gonna lose anything. You're gonna learn something regardless. Just
Great
make sure it's
attitude.
not, yeah, so it makes it less scary, and then it makes it more like an adventure than
And
a
I think
fall
you
into an abyss.
and I think you're quicker in doing it rather than
Yes,
waiting for it, like, because um having that component of faith can really take you in taking that leap a lot quicker than if you don't have that sense of exhilaration or optimism or hope into
right,
it. So I think
right.
that brings the courage to do something different. I know with our life experiences, we've done things that we never thought we would do, and we landed on our
Exactly.
feet, and for
Yeah,
the better. A lot of time it's for the better. So,
yeah,
oh
yeah. Wow.
God.
Life is such an amazing thing.
Even though it has ups and downs.
Yes,
Like the card
like a
reminds us of roller coaster, the
yeah.
carnival ride. So it's kind of like, we talk about the embracing the waves of life. So this is it.
Yes, that's it. It looks like a fun house.
Go for it. All right.
So,
Day two. Well, so the question for day two is, in what ways can I be more courageous exploring my shadow self? And I think you pulled the perfect card for that.
it always amazes me that the cards that need to show up show up. So this is from our crystals, gemstones, and rock deck, and it's messages from multidimensional beings that are crystals. They present as crystals on this planet, but in reality, they're way more than that. And the card that came up was smoky quartz, these beautiful images by Carole. She's a graphic artist and she works with fractals and sacred geometry. And this is the way the essence or the oversoul of smoky quartz presented itself to her. And so she brought it through. I'm going to read the message. All of these are messages from the different mineral kingdom people that came through, all voicing messages. So I am smoking quartz. Voicing a message of walking the walk of exploring shadow takes courage, commitment, and digging deep. Boy, is that ever true. But it's not as scary as it seems. When you think about the shadow side, it's not as scary as it seems. So I'm going to read the card. Some of you say it's darkest just before dawn. The moon has set, the stars have set, the sun has not begun to rise, the mind is obscured just before inspiration dawns, awakening literally and metaphorically. This is a truism. Walking the walk of exploring shadow is tricky and scary. Shining light on shadow brings self discovery, understanding, and release of what no longer serves you. It brings the planting of seeds and new growth. Come with me. I will accompany you on your walk and be your guide. So, when I first, this message first came through, I have a beautiful smoky quartz and I sat in meditation with it. And I actually was able to do some really good shadow work just holding on to the quartz, sitting
Nice.
in meditation with it. It really did act as my guide. Um, I think that one of the things that I've learned as I continue walk, walking your shadow. Um, Oftentimes the stuff that's my shadow are things that I've rejected about myself or parts of me that have been rejected by others. And so they become darkened and obscured and like off limits because they're bad. And and this is a beautiful way to look at it and to help you walk that walk.
There's a lot of power in doing the shadow work
Oh yeah.
because and you talk about the parts rejecting from others, but also I feel um as we look into past lives, I
Yes,
think it's so important to look at the experiences that we had because then it can really help you explain your behaviors. If you're in past life, you're always destitute and had, had no food on the table, no shelter, no support system, it can explain why those things are important today and
exactly.
not judge where you are today because of that need to have that shelter, that need for a little bit more comfort, placing importance on comfort because your past experiences have influenced how you see life today. So, I think shadow work really helps you understand it. And I think it also defines like for me, I had to do this work because I kept attracting a certain type of people, which disrupted my life and took advantage of me and abused and all of that. So it's like enough. I had to say
Yes.
enough. I had to wake up and say, hey, wait a minute, what's happening here? And then I look at the patterns and then I look at the energy that I was attracting and what I was projecting. And so I looked at the triggers and why is this trigger? Like an example um, that I don't talk much about, but we had an employee that was handicapped and he was very violent and I was a very little girl, and then he choked up my brother, and I'm beating him up, and I always had to have eyes behind my back, knowing where he was, so he wouldn't corner me or attack me or molest me, or whatever it was. But that experience, I carried it through my whole life. And a few years back, it's been a while now, but it's like I was always comfortable, uncomfortable around handicapped people, and I couldn't understand why. And I'm like, they're not going to hurt me. But my whole body was shaking. I couldn't wait to get out of the path of that person, and I'm like, and I was judging myself for that reaction. But then it was based on the trauma that I've received, during childhood. So the shadow really helps you understand where you're coming from, I think. So I think it's really
Mm-hmm.
important for us to do that work and place that
Yes.
understanding and gain some insights. Yeah,
And do some self-healing
exactly.
because that's itself, all healing is self-healing. And so it gives you an opportunity to, as an adult or as a different personality in this lifetime, it gives you you see it from a different lens.
Right.
And you say, oh my God, that's just wounding. Let's just work on healing that. Let's work on fixing that. Now that we understand the source, now that we understand the cause, let's work with that. So it's not as scary. Shadow work, I used to be terrified of it. It's not as scary as I thought it was. I was making it scarier than it was. It's a healing opportunity.
And for me, I rather talk about introspection, self-reflection, rather than
Right.
use the trendy word of shadow work
Shadow
because
work.
that it can intimidate people. But
Yes.
if you're willing to do your introspection or self-reflective work, it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. It's bringing things to the awareness so we can deal with them and we can, like you said, you can heal them and heal the wounds and understand and bring more. Um, uh,
Light to the situation.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think it removes the judgment part of it too.
Exactly. And I think was it Carl Jung? Was it the psychologist Carl Jung that brought in the term shadow work, to started shadow work? He brought in things like dream interpretation. He brought it to the
Right.
collective consciousness and stuff like that. And I think shadow work may have been one of his terms.
Okay,
So,
I
but
don't
yeah,
know that.
it is sort of a scary, it is sort of a scary way to think about things.
I
Because,
think
there's that whole thing about what's lurking in the shadows, right?
right. If we embrace both sides of ourselves, all facets of ourselves, then we can bring balance and inner peace. We can create that inner peace.
Oh,
So
that's facet work. That's a better
yeah, that's
terminology, I think.
I like
Facet work. I like that idea. Yeah.
that's what I use is embracing all facets of you. I have a session there.
That
Okay, next.
that's amazing. That's fantastic.
The next day three, you pull the card from the Sacred Destiny Oracle, which is this deck. Yeah,
This
from
is
Denise
Denise
Lynn.
Lynn's deck. If you don't know Denise Lynn, she's amazing. If you ever have a chance to work with her or any of her decks, take advantage because she is so brilliant and so authentic. And look at this card, it's just gorgeous.
And it's a perfect card. So it's named Courage.
And what's our question
So
for the day three?
the question is, what are some of the ways I can use my courage to make a difference in my life and the lives of others?
That's a beautiful question.
So it talks so courage, rocky seashore. The waves crash again and again on the rocky shore, and yet these ancient rocks face each storm with strength and fortitude. They are strong beyond measure. When the waves are gentle, they stand strong, and when the great storms arrive, they remain strong. They never falter. This card signifies that an enduring, everlasting, passionate courage in the depth of your being is arising. There is nothing that you can't confront and face. You are a warrior of the light. The secret landscapes wants you to know. Step forward, throw your shoulders back, and stand up for yourself with passion. Speak up for those less fortunate. Be impeccable in all your actions. This isn't the time to be timid and pull back. Don't be limited by the beliefs of others. Use your passion to make a difference. Courage doesn't mean that you aren't afraid. Fearless means fear less. Acknowledge your fear and take action anyway. Make a stand. You are strong and powerful and have great valor within you.
That's a beautiful message.
So I think it's important to talk about, as because you are the ripple, you taking that step of courage is also you're become in some ways an inspiration or role model. For
Hmm.
me, I tried to repair a marriage that wasn't working, and it takes two to repair a marriage. But
Hmm.
then, I had to question myself, is this love that I'm teaching my child? Is this what she's witnessing? And it's like, no. So then I had to take the courage to say, you know what, I'm done. And we separated because I didn't want her to think that love was what we were showing her it to be. So at one point, it's like, you have to see the impact, how it plays out with other people and in your surroundings. So it is about fearing less. Fear is going to be here,
No matter what, right?
no
It
matter
doesn't
what.
go
But
away.
also we're resilient. We're a lot more resilient than we know ourselves to be. And I think we have those reserves as we, encounter certain situation. It's like you can overcome it. It's just keeping that faith that you can overcome it.
I
So
love that somebody somewhere coined the phrase, they made fear into an acronym, and it's an acronym for false evidence appearing real.
yeah.
FEAR. And so it's like whenever something really is like rattled me, I say, wait a minute, is this evidence false or is it real? Why is this rattled me so much? Well, usually it's false evidence appearing to be real, but it's not. So yeah.
We could make it out to be more, depending on the
Hmm.
quote, the baggage or the experiences that we've had, it could be amplified. And then when we can get step back and look at it from a neutral, objective point of view, it's not as scary. And then we can get the clarity and focus to do what we need to do. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
okay, next one is
Or
I from the I am deck. And the question is, how does fostering courage support me in defining my truth?
yes, the card is I am honoring all of me. So I love this card because look, it's split in half. It sort of reminds me of the yin and yang thing.
What's the shadow?
So
To me,
yeah,
it was the light and shadow.
the
Yeah.
light and the shadow, the
Yes.
yeah. So honoring all of me, I embrace. I love this deck. This is Carol's first deck. It's affirmations. It's beautiful. It's full of beautiful affirmations, and then at the bottom, she gives you these probing questions that you can ask yourself or write about or meditate on. So I use this deck every day since I got it. When did I get it? In 2019? When
End
did
of
it come out?
It came
Yeah,
out end of October 2019, and you got it.
yeah,
You
and
were one of the
I,
first purchasers, so thank you.
yeah, yeah, you're welcome, and I love it.
And
Thank
here we
you.
are together, working
And here
together
we
now.
are together. Who knew? So I am honoring all of me. I embrace all of my being. How important is that? I have the courage to delve within for self-awareness and raise my vibrations. And you hear a lot about delving within and raising vibrations. You hear a lot of that right now about because the energy is shifting all over the planet. So have you embraced your shadow self? As a multidimensional being, who do you know yourself to be right now? Great questions, yeah. So this is such a it follows beautifully on the heels of the smoky quartz and doing shadow work. And then it mirrors the shadow work in embracing all of your being. I embrace all of my being.
I think for me, the behind the honoring of my being is also integrity, being in integrity, showing up,
Absolutely.
with integrity. The word and actions mimic themselves. They're not different. So if I say what you mean what you say, and then act as you would. If you say you're going to do something, do it. So it's really holding yourself
Yeah,
accountable, and that's part of honoring yourself is looking at that aspect of how to be in integrity, setting boundaries, looking at the shadows, and really embracing that, all facets again, so
absolutely. And I think that that also includes like taking responsibility
right,
and becoming your own authority
right.
because a lot of people are so they're sheeple, they're automatons, they just sort of go along like following the crowd and doing what they think they're supposed to do, and then they want somebody else to take responsibility for them or somebody else to be the authority, tell them what to do. But this card is about standing in your integrity, becoming your own authority, taking responsibility for your actions, embracing all of who you are. It's a huge message.
And it's about defining, like the question was about defining truth, is about
Yes,
as you know yourself and as you honor you honor your truth, you honor your core values, you honor your moral code, whatever it is, however you want to call it. It's like you follow, you honor your heart, you honor your
yes,
higher self, so it's a small message with a huge um depth to it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, next. Dave, wait. Oh, sorry. I thought it was I have and misordered it. Sorry. I thought it
That's
was the color
okay.
deck afterwards. So the question for day 5 is, how does courage help me acknowledge the mistakes I make? And this is from the Angel Tarot. So let's see here where it's right here. This is the Angel Tarot from Radley Valentine. And the card is Five of Water. And the bottom of the card says, and it's two chalices, and it says, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, crying over spilled milk. So the message is, things may not have turned out the way you expected. Be careful not to focus too much on the negative, as there's a positive in every situation. You may be missing the silver lining. Fighting or trying to ignore change does not serve you. Instead, have faith that everything happens for a reason. It's healthy to grieve what has been lost and take the time to heal. Reach out to friends, family, and wise counselors for support and comfort. We can support you if you wish. Um,
Yes, absolutely.
we don't have to stay in that spilled milk attitude. So, yeah, it is about, looking at the silver lining. So, talking about we all have disappointments. We all have at time we can get discouraged for the experiences that we're facing. But at the same time, is looking at what we've learned through the experiences that we've had, looking at what came about from the experience, and it could be, a child, it could be skills that you've had. You had a bad relationship at work and you needed to move from that place of employment. However, you've acquired many skills and talents that can support you into the next job, into maybe not the next job, but maybe the following job. So, and then looking at, so it's really about accepting what is, and then from that being objective and looking at from a an observing point of view, and then collecting that information and then using it for the next step. So that's kind
Well,
of
and
my take on it.
and you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit about the number. It's a five, five
Okay.
of water. Water is about emotions, it's about relationships, it's about intuition, it's about connection to spirit. It's around about a lot of things. And fives in numerology are about change, sometimes cataclysmic change. In tarot, not only are fives about change, but they're about point of view, your perspective. And Carole was just talking about perspective. So if you look at this card, you can see that there's three cups that have toppled and the contents has been spilled. But you have two cups that are still standing. So the shift in perspective, like Carole was talking about, is you still have resources. You still have things that you can use in this situation to help you move forward. So yeah, this is I think it's a powerful card for finding the courage to see things in a different way and move forward accordingly.
Well, and then you are the chalice. You know, you,
Yes,
you
exactly.
are the container that holds everything within. So I think that's really important also to point that if you dig deep, you have that well of resources and that well of gifts and talents that you may not be aware of yet. And, supporting you in stepping into your potential is something that we love to do because we want to empower you in having that courage to look at the silver lining and take the good that comes from it.
Right. Right.
I got a little out of order here. Sorry about that. All
That's
right.
okay.
So day six. Day six is ruby red. And the question is, how do I muster the courage to make changes?
This comes from the color deck, the qualities and the frequencies of color, and the card that came up was ruby red. It's absolutely stunning. And look at the energy behind that card, all the movement, all the vibration. So all of these cards have the three qualities or characteristics that are associated with the vibration of the specific color. And then the opening phrase is always, I am open to the experience of. I love that. I love that because the way you grow is being open to things, right? And so the message about finding the courage to take change, make a change, the characteristics are enthusiasm, rejuvenation, and bravery. So those are big. Those are really big. I'm open to the experience of enthusiasm as it rejuvenates all of my cells and supports me with bravery when I'm being nudged out of my comfort zone. Isn't that a great card for change, making change? It's absolutely perfect, because change requires stepping out of your comfort zone. And you do have the resources to do it. You can step forward with enthusiasm, you can step forward with courage or bravery, and with the intention and the idea and the mindset that this is going to rejuvenate me. This is going to be really good for me. This can be really, really positive. Even if it's a little bit scary at first, it's still a good thing.
I feel like the red and the rejuvenation is it's like fuel. Purge, it becomes a fuel, and it becomes the an impetus or the igniter to change and to stepping into something wonderful that can we don't know. We're not going to know, but at the same time, as if we're really tuned to our intuition, and if we have clarity, and if we're aligned with our soul's purpose, it's only a great opportunity on the other side of the coin, as
Right.
we
And red
progress
for
with
passion, red for fire, red for
yes,
motion, movement, and passion and action. It also makes me think of the benefit. It makes me think of earth and grounding. It makes me think
right,
of the root chakra. And
yes.
so you can do this if you're grounded. Ground yourself in the certainty that you're going to be rejuvenating from this. You have the bravery to do it. Embrace it with enthusiasm and with passion and energy. It, like Carole said, it's the ignition point.
Well, and the red also is about power.
Yes,
So
empower.
it's about that creative force, the knowing that you're the confidence you can trust, you believe in yourself and the confidence that you have. So it reminds me of confidence as well with the red for some reason. So
Yes, confidence for sure.
hey, all right. So the last card is from our consciousness deck.
Yes. I love
And
this image. The head, the face looks so cosmic.
oops, showing you the back. And I love this card. It always reminds me of kind of like a dashboard. That's why I called it Illuminated Path. So each of the cards in the consciousness deck start out with being grateful for, because that that frequency of gratitude amplifies uh, the welcoming of opportunities, the welcoming of change, and I don't know, it's just that powerful frequency that is projecting, and it's for you to be able to receive as well. So I'm grateful for the release of what is obstructing my vision. As I gain focus, my path is illuminated with clarity. I now see all facets of my infinite self and embrace my multidimensionality as I move toward new horizons. So we've been talking about embracing our all of our facets with the shadow work and everything else, but now we're also asked to look at and embrace the facets of our infinite and multidimensional self. So that creates that pool of resources that we haven't even maybe tapped into, or it's limitless. And we talked about through objectivity. So when we're coming from honoring ourselves and coming from integrity, being in alignment, then we have clarity. And with clarity, we can pursue our path and pursue our dreams and desires, and take action. The red is also about action, taking action. So to me,
Right.
it's more of it feels like a masculine energy, and it's about the doing, to moving forward and the doing. And now we're, with that bag of multidimensionality, of embracing all of the infinite self. There's no stopping you.
Exactly. And I love this opening phrase about releasing what's obstructing my vision. Look at the shape up here at the top. It looks like a giant eye, and you're the pilot. So the interesting thing is that nobody sees reality as it really is. They see it as it is for them because we see everything through our own lens. And the way we view things is very different than the way other people view things. So And so we are the ones who are obstructing our own vision, and we obstruct that with our thought forms, the way we think, the way we react to stuff. And so if we can step into that neutral place and release those obstructions, so we step into that neutral place so you can really gain focus to see where you're going, that also alleviates some of the concerns and gives you more courage because you realize, well, maybe I wasn't seeing that the way it really is. I was skewing that through my own vision, through my own lens, and I've convinced myself that that's too scary. I don't have the strength or courage to do it. It's just not true. It's just not true. Yeah, you can do anything. And you're the pilot. You're the pilot. This always reminds me of a cockpit, and I feel like I'm looking at a control panel, and this is what I'm seeing, and I get to steer. I get to follow this path. So I love this card.
Yeah, I do too. It's one of my favorites in the sense. And yeah, what you've said is so true, and it's getting rid of all the cloudiness that has been
Yes,
obstructing, and that's through self-awareness. And
absolutely.
so the whole reading was about, looking at your through self-awareness, through self-reflection, through expanding the perspective, expanding your lens so that you can have focus and clarity, and then you can be in alignment. So I I think this is a powerful ending to the reading.
To a powerful week-long
Yes.
series of readings. I mean, really, I love doing these because I feel like we're putting information out to people who are choose to participate. We're putting out points of view and information to people that they can, if it makes sense to them, they'll grab onto it and hopefully use it for their benefit.
Yes. And
It's
if you
a it's a
want, sorry, if you want to
go
see the
ahead.
question, if you want to see all the questions, visit our Facebook group. So it's the Body of Wisdom Oracle Circle, because every Sunday we share a topic. Rosie does the reading Monday through Saturday, and the messages have been powerful, and we're lining up very powerful topics as well. This week we're doing purpose. The week before that it was about, I think we've addressed love, we've addressed resilience, we've addressed intention, so go back and kind of browse through, and then you can use the questions with your own readings if you have decks or any kind of divination tool. You could also take them for journaling and meditate as meditative prompts. Sit in quietude and ask those questions, and pay attention to the answers.
Yeah,
Listen deeply, because it's again, we are the container, and we just need to tap into that container, that chalice of knowledge and wisdom that is there. So,
yeah.
pretty powerful stuff.
It is. It's exciting and it's very enjoyable to do. It's very enjoyable because I get insights every time I pull a card and put it down the message and then do my own interp. It's like, oh, that was a lot. That was some good information. So it helps me too. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and then on Saturday, I do a kind of um, a sum up of all the messages into an affirmation, and
Yeah.
and I always feel like the affirmation becomes so powerful because it's all those nugget kind of creating the message, and if you can, even if you don't do the readings, maybe pay attention to the affirmation, because it may support you, because it's kind of the um synthesis. I can't say the word.
Yeah, it's like you synthesize it. Yeah, you assimilate it and you synthesize it, and then you put. I tease Carol and I call her. I'm a tarot freak as well, and so I think in tarot cards. I always tease Carol and tell her she's the king of swords because swords are associated with air, and air is all things cerebral. It's way you think, what you think, how you think, why you think it, what you believe, insights, ideas, epiphany. She's an idea machine. And she's a great assimilator and a culminator and a synthesizer. And that's what kings do. They are the movers, the shakers. They are beneficent, kind kings, take charge of things and help the people that they work with. And so a good king will gather information for the good of all and assimilate it and synthesize it into something that he can present to others to help them. And so Carol, the King of Swords, because that's what she does. She takes all the information from all seven cards and she synthesizes them. She amalgamates them into one beautiful affirmation that says it all simply, succinctly, and deeply. So yeah, if you don't want to read the spreads, go to Saturdays and look for the weekly affirmation that's based on what the decks had to share.
There's a lot more into the reading. So, and you're welcome to use the question for your own reading. So it's
Right.
you just have to be willing to do the work.
Yes, and that it
Taking
always
taking
boils down
respons
to that
taking
responsibility,
responsibility. We talked
becoming
about
your
this
own
today.
authority, yeah, and doing your
Exactly.
own work. Yeah.
Exactly. And we also create some spreads. So we have an array of spread. The latest one that I created is the new human card spread, which is 50 introspective questions to fully embrace the depth of who you are and create exponential shifts in consciousness. So this is really about bringing the invisible to the visible, so we can make shifts in consciousness. And
Beautiful.
we have a monthly Oracle Circle. In May, we will not have a circle because I will be at a spring fair for the weekend. So we
So if
will,
you're in Oregon, tell them where you're going to be, Carol.
I'm going to be at the Scout Lodge Spring Craft Fair in Philomath, Oregon, from on Saturday and Sunday, May 17th and 18th. So we will not have the Oracle Circle, but we will reconvene in June. So
Right, and you can always go to the fair and have Carol work with you and see all of the beautiful things that she has at the fair.
yes, I will have the all the decks and the goodies and the art and
The
stuff.
other
So,
things, the art and the scarves and the everything. She's got quite a display.
and we've launched it a few months back. We've launched our Patreon community, so please find us there. We're really catering towards self-awareness to potential. So it's, empowerment. You have to decide that you want to empower yourself. And then from that attitude of empowerment, then you move into the self-awareness work and then go into the potentialities. And then we have a layer of oneness, which is, but so we have 4 tiers to choose from. And this month we're doing, finding your life's purpose, which is a pretty powerful guide. It's usually our guide's about 20 page or more, and they're full of activities. So it's like a month worth of activities. And this month, kind of fun. Rosie did something with uh, contemplating yourself through the elements, the air, fire, water, and earth. So it should be interesting. And again, it's about showing up at your best self, the best version of you. So we
And
welcome you.
there's one of the affirmations down there at the bottom on the right.
That's a
So
different
that,
one. Yeah.
but the on the Body of Wisdom Oracle Circle that has that sense of being two
Yeah.
cards. So
Yes.
if you're looking for a visual, I'm very visual. So if you're looking for a visual, that's what you look for. It looks similar to that.
Yes, yes, this is so we offer a lot. We have the energy forecast, we do a Q&A, we have the new moon circle, we have all kinds of stuff. And the new moon circles have been pretty powerful, I think, and I sleep so much
Yes,
better afterwards too.
too. Me too. I always snooze really well after the Newman Circle activity.
And it's all about, planting new seeds and intention. It's about intention setting. It's not necessarily about, I don't do astrology, so it's not about the planetary. It's more about the numerology, what month, the number that we're moving into and the vibration of the numerology, the number that brings with us. And like this month is about change. So the new moon is about, and you can listen to it anytime. And it's about what energy that we're walking into and then embracing the messages. And so might be a little different than what you're accustomed to in terms of new moon ceremonies. It's not necessarily that. So, but it's a powerful session. We work on the seven chakras, and we create a space of it. It's always about creating a space of expansion. So we look forward to seeing you there. And if you want to connect with us individually, this is Rosemary, and this is my email. We are available for private sessions, readings, and all kind of good stuff. So just reach out, and we'll be happy to support you in any way we can.
We're both able to work remotely.
Yes,
As a matter of fact, sometimes that's my preferred way of working
same.
because there's absolutely no distractions and I can really focus on the energy of the person that I'm working with. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
I feel the same way. So, and it's pretty powerful sessions. And so,
absolutely. Yeah.
okay. Well, we had a beautiful readings. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate
You're
you. I
welcome.
appreciate your time. I appreciate your wisdom. I always
So,
enjoy our exchange. And we'll see you next month for the next reading.
yeah, in June. God, are we already halfway through the year?
I
Oh
know.
my gosh, I can hardly believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to next month.
Thank you, Rosie. See you, see
Thank
you,
you.
see you then.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you
Bye,
for
everybody.
attending. Bye.
Thank you. Yes. Bye-bye.